All right. Here we go. I'm going to do a countdown. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Game That Tune.
Oh, yeah. What is going on, everybody? It is Game That Tune, and we're back in the house once again. Back in the host chair after suffering a humiliating defeat in last week's episode. It's your boy, the shameful John Harrington, saying hey, and we got David Fleming with us. Say hey.
Hey!
And we got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey!
And we've got this year's August Absurdity champion, Game That Tune's newest absurd royalty. I believe we're going with incompetent absurdity overlord. The man who makes it all possible for me to continue hating myself. It's John Regan. John, say hey.
Hey.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. Short and sweet, the way it should be from an incompetent absurdity overlord. If you are just joining us here on Game That Tune, man, we're gonna have a blast. We listen to video game music. We try and guess the games based on songs, a little bit of trivia, goof off, have fun. Winner at the end of the night plays a bonus tune, and this is the final show of August in podcast form. It's the first show of September, but we've enjoyed a fantastic August Absurdity tournament all month. Want to take a quick moment in this intro to thank everybody for participating in August Absurdity. We had a great fan request free play to open up the month. We've had great participation in the chat with our live shows throughout, and it was a great head-to-head tournament that ultimately, saw John Regan for some reason being crowned king. So it's been a great month, and we're closing it out with some positivity and some fun. And, we're closing it out in a way that only John Regan could decide to close it out with a free play. Now, Johnny, did you actually make a new free play jingle, or you're not going to subject us to my fucking championship free play jingle again, are you?
I think we should.
I really wanted
I
to.
think we should play the 9-minute free play jingle from episode 100.
That is retired.
No, I took your free play jingle, John, and I punched it up a little bit. I'd made a few tweaks, just a little, gave it a little more, up a few levels. I think you're going to enjoy it.
Did you just play saxophone over it?
I don't know if I want to hear this or not.
Oh, you
It's
do?
literally just the Sonic Mania soundtrack.
Let's have it, Johnny. Tell them it's a free play.
All right, guys, it's a free play. Yeah, what's up, guys? I am going to win, I think. Maybe not.
John Regan says God of War,
Oh,
which is correct.
oh shit. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
I want to play double dicks.
Yeah, I'm really not good at smack talking confrontation. I'm just good at winning. Mega Man 6?
That is correct.
Turok 2.
That is correct.
Final Fantasy 6.
That is correct.
Yeah! Oh, Minecraft.
That is correct.
That's why you don't buy the shirt until after the Super Bowl, John. Suck it. Free play.
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's a one-time use free play. We're never playing that again.
New ringtone.
Congratulations, John. You've earned the right to play that.
I sure did.
Yeah. I don't know what your reign as Absurd King entails. If it's just occasionally telling me to suck it, or playing Live and Learn for every bonus tune, or what. But I'm interested to find out. So I think it's time to jump right into it, man. What do we got for game 1 tonight?
Game 1.
All right. So this is the first game from LucasArts not to use the Scum engine. All right,
Can
guys.
you give the trivia one more time?
Oh, sure. This is the first LucasArts game not to use the Scum engine.
Okay. I just want to make sure you didn't say like first in the series.
No.
Is this a series? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Know what this is, but I don't know enough about it.
Do I know what this is? All right,
I hope so.
Jesse says Grim Fandango. David says Grim Fandango, and John says Grim Fandango. That is a hat trick. Yep.
Is that the first time our hat track is actually appropriate now?
I think so. So this is a fan request from superfan tier producer Andrew Oliver. This came in from him this week. This is Grim Fandango, released in 1998 for Windows PC. And I think later ported to other things. But yeah, 1998.
This game always looks so much older than that to me. But what do I know?
I think it's just because like it's a very early 3D game. So at the time it was cutting edge, but now it looks especially dated.
Right. That's the thing. The graphical style severely dates it for me. For some reason it screams like 95. Just mid 90s computer graphics all up in that bitch. But like, was it really a 3D game? I thought it was like rendered backgrounds and then 3D characters walking around in them. Like I thought it was just a point and click game where you're a sugar skull detective walking around fucking elaborate painted scenes. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're right. But you gotta remember back then that's what we called a 3D game. If Final Fantasy VII is pre-rendered 3D backgrounds with a few 3D characters on it. We called it a 3D game.
You're right.
I was gonna say because the character models are polygonal. Yeah. It's everything else before was just sprites or 3D models rendered as sprites.
So they can marry as many things as they want?
Yes.
Cool. I love polygonal models. Wait, am I thinking of something else? Forget about it. We're talking Grim Fandango. I think I played this briefly. Didn't they re-release this on like PS3 or PS4? I feel like they've re-released this a few times.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like it got an update recently.
There is.
I feel like it's one of those things that, by modern standards, is just a little bit boring. But that might also just be personal preference on my part. Like,
no, I tried to watch some video footage of this game, and I'm not gonna lie, I got a little bored watching it. Like, it's. I think at the time when this came out, we would be more interested in this kind of game that's pure story driven, right? There's no real action element to it.
Right.
You just go to things and interact with them and, try to solve the mystery. And nowadays, I feel like it's just like how it's harder to watch old movies nowadays. Like when I try to watch something like Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, like I just can't do it, to be honest. Like it's just everything takes forever.
Love those birds.
I can still watch Rear Window. I don't know.
And I can still watch The Birds. It's great.
I enjoy The Birds, yeah.
Maybe
it's a slow
special effects bonanza, that Birds.
All right, so I'm wrong.
Birdemic.
Yeah, maybe it has something to do with the fact that it's a 1998 computer game trying to take on the tone of like a 40s, 50s detective noir thing. Maybe that makes it seem boring, but obviously, if you play it, it's a rich and rewarding game. I'm trying to remember, like back in the day, way back in the day, IGN was doing some like tournament for the greatest game of all time, and it's like 2002 or whatever. And this was one of the only games on the like whole tournament thing that was like progressing through it, and I had no idea what it was. I'm just like, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people do love it.
Beat GoldenEye? How is that possible?
I mean, to be fair, I don't know if it was IGN or if it was like GameFAQs or GameSpot. Recently, within the last couple of years, they did another one of those, and Undertale won. Like Undertale is voted the greatest game of all time.
Yeah. Never doubt the power of the modern internet.
Not greatest game, but it's pretty great.
But yeah, it was like, okay, well, I know that it's a PC game, and I know it's LucasArts, so I figure it was like Monkey Island, and I was like, that beat GoldenEye and like Half-Life on a fucking video game trial? Okay, whatever. I'm sure it's fine. But I barely scratched the surface of this one. I got that remake at some point, and it's like, oh, right. there's not a lot of action to this. It's a point and click game. You know, it's cool. I like the art style, quite frankly. I like that it's dated as hell now. Like, I don't think it ever looked great, but it looked cool.
Yeah,
you know?
I like that it's Coco Noir is what I thought of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe if I had played it right after watching Coco, I would have enjoyed it much more. Like,
Man, Coco
that
was
movie
so
really
good.
put me in the mood for tragic skeletons in a Mexican setting, and this maybe could have followed that up.
Yeah.
But
That's
That
my
is
favorite ska group, the Tragic Skeletons.
yeah.
That is one thing that I wish would make a comeback, because so many games. Okay, first off, more games need to have like Day of the Dead art styles, and that needs to be something that pops up more often, frequently.
Guacamelee
So-
2 just came out.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Secondly, I really wish that, in the indie scene and all of that, the big trend is pixel graphics. And I love pixel graphics. Pixel graphics are great. But I do wish that people started experimenting with like more art styles. I would, no bullshit, love a brand new indie game that came out in that like mid 90s shitty polygon style. Like, that would be incredible. And I want to play a game like that.
I think that's called Minecraft, and I think it
gonna
happened.
say, there was a big one, a rather big one, but I understand the desire for more. Because, yeah, I mean, like, if something could successfully emulate the fun of, or just like that vibe of like Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and like 90s PC graphics and make a really good modern game with it, yeah, that'd be a blast. Like,
Like,
I
could
don't
you
know.
imagine if Octopath Traveler, instead of using like Final Fantasy VI sprites, used Final Fantasy VII models?
see, that's an interesting idea. It's almost like they need a slider in that game. Like, it should be honoring all eras of RPG. Like, slide to your preference. Like, how Final Fantasy do you want this thing? Let me slide it back down to 1. Okay, we got 8-bit sprites and 8-bit enemies. And it's like, let's slide up like 8, 9. Oh man, that is great. Like, because really, I love Octopath Traveler the way it is, but it could be honoring every possible Final Fantasy art style if it wanted to. So, yeah, that would be good.
I like, though, the way to do that is you'd be basically making the same game 9 times.
Oh, yes.
No,
Absolutely.
see, I mean, Octopath Traveler has like 3D movement. It's just the sprites are kind of like cardboard cutout moving around. You could replace those with like shitty polygon models, and it would
Right.
still function basically the same.
I guess the problem with Octopath would then be that you'd have like Final Fantasy models moving in what's essentially a pop-up book version of a 16-bit world. So if you wanted to redo the world every time, that's complicated. But if you just wanted to redo the models and accept them on the pop-up book of the 16-bit world, then yeah, maybe it would work. But I don't know. It's that's actually a very good idea for Octopath Traveler 2 whenever that comes out. How do you say 16 paths? Yeah.
Septo?
Sextect Path Traveler. We'll work on that one.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think it would actually be Sextopath. And
Yeah.
I think that's a very different game.
Sextopath Traveler is that's a fan game right there, baby.
But we're talking about Grim Fandango.
Yeah, I'm just talking
no,
about
that's not
fantastic,
fair.
fantastic art styles and RPGs.
I had a perfect segue, because I was going to talk about, this new Octopath Traveler that we were making. It's like, yeah, I think people would really like that, crappy polygon character in fantastically rendered background style. Just like Grim Fandango.
Yeah,
Tying it together.
Manny. Yeah, we should all play this at some point. We should stream a late night like thing of Grim Fandango with somehow all of us playing it and see how many people tune in and then fall asleep with their TVs on. It'll be fantastic. We'll just lull them to sleep with mid-90s skeleton humor. And it'll really rock their worlds. But awesome request, great tunes. I do believe somebody in the chat said, "Oh, I thought that was Cuphead for sure."
At first I was like, "Hey, it kind of sounds like Skullgirls, but I know Skullgirls. Maybe this is Cuphead. Wait, we used Cuphead. What the hell is this?"
Yeah, jazzy, eh? We'll have to rely on the trivia, but yeah. So great tunes from a classic game. Thank you, Andrew Oliver, for the request. Many more where that came from, please. And Johnny, should we move on to game 2?
Game 2.
So, get out your calculators, everybody. This game was released in June of 2008 to coincide with the 30th anniversary of this series. So, who's got those guesses ready?
I do.
Oh, man.
Let's see them. So, John Regan says Bionic Commando Rearmed. Incorrect. Jesse says Dr. Mario Online RX. Also incorrect. John Harrington is technically incorrect, but he comes the closest. He says 2008, a Space Invaders remake. This is Space Invaders Extreme.
I'm not giving myself a point for that. Huh. What?
Cool.
Okay, one.
So,
I just realized that I'm
who's
really
playing
bad at
this?
math because I went for 1988 and not 1978. Wow.
Bionic Commando was not the first video game.
I was sitting there thinking, it was like, oh, trivia, everything. Oh, it's done for the 30th anniversary. That's good trivia because I'm sure somebody's going to say, hey, what came out in 1978?
That was my
Pong
immediate
or
thought. I'm
Space
like,
Invaders?
yeah, Breakout? No.
And then I was kind of thinking maybe somebody would Google Space Invaders 2008 and come up with this game.
No, I pretty much just joked my way into that answer because I was like, Space Invaders is the only thing that came out in 1978, right? Like, it was a pinball game you're talking about, of course. You're talking about the Bally Midway arcade cabinet. Sure, that's got to be it. They made an update of that for 2008, right? No, it's the only game that came out that year, Space Invaders.
No, this game is actually pretty awesome. It kind of came out of nowhere. Because if I remember, there were two games released for the 30th anniversary. There was this, and then there was also, I think it was like Invaders Strike Back. It was like a downloadable game. I know it was on WiiWare, where you play as the Space Invaders and try to like take over a city. But this game was a lot cooler. It's basically like amped up techno Space Invaders. It's the same basic gameplay. You're still shooting Space Invaders, but they've added stuff like power-ups and boss fights and bonus levels and made it a bit more of a more exciting game. Like Space Invaders is an undeniable classic, but it's the same screen over and over. This adds a little bit more variety and makes it a little bit more, I don't want to say modern, but for lack of a better word, modern?
Is it modern or just more fun? I mean, you can be real here. Space Invaders is Space Invaders. Like, they added some bells, some whistles, some music. I'm sure some fucking colors. Like,
oh yeah.
So,
okay. In that case, real talk. This game's a lot more fun.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like, oh look, it's got pacing. Like, like better. I don't know, maybe possibly better mechanics or something. Some power ups, some colors, probably like some bigger enemies, not just the same things over and over. Not just down one row, back. Like the original Space Invaders, iconic, but man, kind of simplistic.
So I have one issue. And that's you guys have said the word space like 40 times.
I've been waiting for it.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, John. You're lucky that you're fucking Absurd King, because you would have been fired numerous times by now. Yeah, exactly.
Hot take.
Yeah, we're talking Space Invaders Extreme, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to do a count on this on how many times we said space before that sound effect came out. Quite frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself.
I have the exact count right here. It is an embarrassing amount.
Yes. Now, the question really for this show is Tim Curry in Space Invaders Extreme.
Oh, wait, wrong Tim.
God.
You had one job, and we made a point to tell you your one job, and you still cocked it up.
Wow, impressive.
I have one thing to bring up here. You said Space Invaders, the original Space Invaders, didn't have color. It did. You put a transparency over the screen that changed colors. I'm not joking. That's what they did. And, a fun fact, the reason the ships got faster was... the processor was when you had fewer enemies on the screen, the processor could draw them faster. Like, it was totally by accident.
That's pretty funny.
That's the same way that Street Fighter 2 has combos. There was like a hit detection error where you could chain moves into each other, and then players started using that, and the developers were like, "Oh, we should probably keep that."
Yeah, that's an extra layer to this gameplay. I kind of like.
Oh yeah, we meant to do that.
Yeah, give us money.
But no, this game, like, it was kind of a small little sleeper game, came out like out of nowhere, and it's actually a lot of fun. I remember the power-ups because the ships were color-coded, and if I remember, if you got like 3 or 4 of them of the same color in a row, you would get a power-up. So I remember the green one was like a spread shot. I remember there was I think a red one that was like an explosive shot, and there was a blue one that I always tried to get because it gave you a giant laser beam that you could just hold and then kind of move to the left or right and just mow down everything in the way, which was insanely satisfying.
Yeah, that sounds like easy mode. Yeah. You don't really have to be precise with your shooting. Just hold that button and move left and right, and all the aliens die. Well, that is a good power-up.
And I know, like I said, there were boss fights. I remember one of the boss fights, it's just like a giant version that would just start releasing smaller ones that had their own patterns. Like, it really made Space Invaders more fun. And it's kind of like a cult game. If you have the chance, if you can find it. I know it came out originally on PSP and DS. I think there's an Xbox Live version. I don't know if that's still around for the Xbox One, but if you can get access to this game, I'm sure it's on Steam. But if you can find this game, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, now it is on Steam. Now tell me this, David. Just real talk. Does it warrant the $20 price tag on Steam?
I would pay upwards of $20 for this game.
Okay. Hearty endorsement from David. Impressive. Because to me it sounds more like a $5 game. That's my skewed value system. But yeah, I mean, if it's got the depth, if it's got the replayability, and it's just fun, then yeah, fuck it, $20, why not? And the music's pretty good, fun techno space soundtrack.
I actually like I made sure to specify this is the DS version because it's me, so of course it is. But also because the DS version has a soundtrack by Zuntata, which is Taito's like in-house band that does all their music. The PSP version and I believe the Xbox Live version have a different soundtrack completely from like outside musicians.
Okay, well, that's good, I guess.
But no, it's got that like electronic trance dance club music that perfectly fits in with the trippy visuals and the pixelated graphics.
Oh yeah, would you look at that? It was released on Steam February of this year because now it's the 40th anniversary of Space Invaders. Good Lord. Thank you. Yeah, wow. It's going to be crazy when we start celebrating 40th anniversaries of classic games. That's that's going to be mind-blowing. So, while I have an existential crisis, David, is there anything else that you have to say about Space Invaders to the extreme?
The only thing I want to say is that this is a really fun game set in space.
Space!
Thank you.
Indeed it is. Cool. Just making sure Johnny's fingers are working. Nothing sexual about that. And Johnny, let's keep it going to the next game.
Game 3.
All right. So in this game you play as one of 11 different monsters. You have like punches and kicks and all sorts of different things. And you can use the environment. It was also supposed to be a GameCube exclusive, and then eventually they released it on Xbox as well. How you guys feeling?
I think I'm feeling very good.
Pretty good. That last song was kind of a tip-off.
Yeah, it was.
Maybe slightly iconic.
All right, let's see what you got. We got Johnny with a dick guitar, which is pretty fantastic. And then John and David both say Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, which is correct. So
Hell yeah.
Who played this game?
Say the full title again.
Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee.
I just feel like it's such a fun name to say. I remember seeing the ads for that back in the day. It's like, Godzilla, destroy all monsters, melee! I'm like, I love this. I want it. That's good stuff right there. 3D
I don't know what it is, but I want to play it.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what it is, and I want to play it. I don't care what it is. You get to fight Godzilla with fucking, King Ghidorah in a 3D thing and, smash him through buildings. Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
that is
no
to
shit.
say,
It's got Megalon as a character. I want to play this.
That is to say, I rented it once at Blockbuster and never played it again. But it was a lot of fun for those few days.
Oh, man, this game I was so excited for it, and it paid off. It was great. This game, if you could get 4 people to play this game, it was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was 11 monsters, but they were all good choices for monsters. I mean, like David said, Megalon's in this game. Freaking Destroya.
King Ghidorah. Mecha King Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Anguirus is in this? Lineup. Hell yeah.
I remember, I think I was a little disappointed that Gamera wasn't in it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I really liked Gamera.
That is the crossover that we desperately need. Godzilla versus Gamera.
Has that not been a thing?
No.
Oh shit!
They tried to get Jet Jaguar in this game too.
Oh, that would have been.
That would have been amazing.
Oh,
and they
God.
said no.
Johnny, jump in here, man. What's your favorite kaiju or Japanese monster movie?
Guys, it's time for me to make a confession. I've never actually seen a Godzilla or other Japanese monster movie.
None of them?
None of them.
What about Godzilla 98 with Matthew Broderick?
Ugh, no.
Ugh. I'm just saying, not even American Godzilla?
No, I've never seen any of them.
How dare you?
Don't watch that one.
No, do watch that one. It's a lesson on how to do Godzilla wrong, and it'll make you appreciate the other Godzillas more. Besides the fact that 1998 Godzilla had Hank Azaria and Harry Shearer in it, and my Simpsons loving ass loved it, that movie sucks ass.
Okay, John, here's what you need to do. You need to you need to go to your corner video store, and you need to find yourself a copy of Godzilla Final Wars, and you need to watch that.
Pretty great.
Dope.
Wait,
because it's basically like every kaiju monster attacking at once, and then Godzilla has to go in and wreck all of them. It's fucking fantastic.
Step 1, find myself. I feel like that's gonna take a while to go on a journey of self-discovery.
Oh, yeah, now that you've admitted that you've not seen a Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
You need some soul searching, like, what have I been doing with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a wife and a dog and a great job, but I've not seen Godzilla. What else am I not doing?
Seriously, man. All those trips to the video store when you were a kid and you didn't pick up a fucking Godzilla movie at some point.
No, because one time I picked up Dirty Work and I was never allowed to pick the movie again.
That wasn't when you were a kid. You were a teenager by then. I'm talking when you were like 7. You never looked at the fucking, the weird wall of your local video store and went, oh man, that thing's got a knife for a head. That Godzilla, that's just how were you not drawn to this?
Frost.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what you spent your childhood watching, if not Godzilla movies.
I think Aladdin on VHS again and again and again.
Okay, fair enough, man. I get that. You're off the hook.
What the hell are you watching all the time? Aladdin. All right.
Life well spent.
Okay.
Man, that
I feel like my dad
all my
was kind of like a
criticisms have
nerd,
melted away.
and he got me into stuff like this.
Who was that?
My dad, like,
Mm.
he always had, like, he had a van and all that kind of like fun kind of van stories you had back in the 70s. But at the same
Yeah.
time, he was always turning me on to like Star Trek and Godzilla movies and stuff. And I was like, so I feel like he was like a nerd, but didn't really show he was a nerd back then or whatever. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
But
he was a nerd before it was like even acceptable to be a nerd in public. I get it. I used to feel that way. But anyway, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, the fucking 4-player 3D fighting game featuring Godzilla characters for GameCube. Yeah, it's fucking great. Like, there's not much else to say about it. You got 11 Godzilla characters, and you beat the shit out of each other. It's
we need a new game like this.
We really do. I'm wondering if that's why you gravitated towards things like Gang Beasts and other like 3D, like fun fighting games. It's like this was a party in a small GameCube disc. Like this was everything kid you would want in one little tiny package. Like giant monsters beating the shit out of each other, and you can play it with all your friends. Because yes, I have
and
less
stepping on tanks and smashing buildings and throwing, like, doing suplexes to other monsters into like the ocean, like oh
yeah, we need that back.
Times.
Especially, I mean, we had Kong Skull Island and a new Godzilla, and now I think they're about to cross those over. So like,
and
it's
the
time for
Rampage movie. I mean, fuck,
Rampage was a great movie. So take Godzilla and make it a great game. Like, it makes sense to me.
Heartbroken that they did not do a video game tie-in for Pacific Rim.
Yep, that would have been fucking great. Weird. Like I'm sure that's going to happen. I think they're going to keep making those because I think China laps them up. So I think there's bound to be a Pacific Rim game one day. I don't know that it'll be good, but I'm just picturing something where you can like create your own Jaeger or maybe even create your own kaiju. And it sounds like a pretty fun game. So yeah, a new Godzilla game. Like, man, wouldn't it just blow your mind if right alongside the Ultimate Smash Brothers release, they did Ultimate Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee and just came out with a new fucking like party Godzilla game.
We have everyone.
Exactly. All the kaijus are here.
Like, how fucking amazing would it be if there was a Godzilla like fighting game with a create a character mode?
Oh yeah.
Where you could just make your own kaiju.
Dude, yeah, and Godzilla versus the Power Rangers versus Pacific Rim versus Gamera versus Jet Jaguar, like versus Voltron.
VR Troopers. Oh, fuck yeah, Voltron.
You could throw King Kong in there.
Yeah. Yes. Of course, John. Oh, man. Yeah, no, it needs to happen, quite frankly. I'd rather have that than, like, I don't know, almost any other like crossover fighting game going forward. Like Smash Brothers is all well and good, but come on, let's have the giant monster crossover fighting game. Let's all come together on that.
Oh man, I remember there was a moon level you could fight on this game.
Oh, did it have low gravity?
Awesome.
I think it was I think the gravity was a little lower, and there was like a moon base you could smash and stuff. It was pretty great.
I love it so much. Yeah, and there was a story mode in this that obviously I don't know anything about because I only had the game for 5 days.
Basically, aliens get control of all the giant monsters except for one. And so you have to go like knock sense into all the other monsters and then go kill the aliens.
Hell yeah, man! Yeah, and also I mean, just
is King Kong a kaiju?
It's a giant monkey.
Okay, I don't know if he's considered one or
giant
not.
monster, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the delineation of giant monster versus kaiju. If it's literally just like anime versus animation. Anime is from Japan, but it's just animation. Like King Kong, technically a kaiju? I don't know. That's.
I think kaiju means dude in suit, right?
Oh, okay. In that case, maybe.
Because originally, like in the actual American King Kong movie, I think he's like 50 feet tall, and then so many people wanted to see him fight Godzilla that Toho like bought the rights to make King Kong versus Godzilla, but they realized that Godzilla's like 400 feet tall and King Kong is 50, so they scaled him up. So there is an actual like kaiju King Kong over in Japan.
Awesome.
That's slightly different from the American version.
Into it. So into it. Well, yeah, man. They need to bring this back because this game was a blast. Even if I only played it once, it stuck with me. You just, it's it gets down to just everything that's fun about video games, like controlling giant monsters, fighting things, smashing things, having fun with your friends, and doing it with characters you're familiar with. Like it was hitting me in the nostalgia receptors when I was only, when it was fucking 2003. It didn't, I didn't know I had nostalgia for that until it fucking came out. It's like, oh right, 7-year-old me loved this shit. So, yeah, man. They need to bring this back.
And Blue Oyster Cult wrote a song about Godzilla. That's cool too.
It's good to know. I assume that's your bonus tunes. So in order to find out, Johnny, I think we should keep it moving, man.
Game 4.
Whoops.
That's okay.
No, I wanted to end on that. Let's go to you.
Cool. So, this remake received many mixed reviews, despite being mostly identical to its critically acclaimed original version. Many reviewers pointed to the battle system and the music as elements that were made worse in the new version. So sorry. All right. I am really, really sorry for playing that song. How you guys feeling, man?
Not great.
Yeah, I know, man. I heard the music too. My ears hurt. Johnny, what are you thinking, man? Let's see it. King.
There you go.
Well. David says Bomberman Act Zero. Way off. Jesse says Chrono Trigger. Getting warmer. John Regan says Secret of Mana remake. He's correct. It's Secret of Mana for the PlayStation 4.
Oh, of course it fucking is.
Why do you think I'm so upset? Good Lord. Woo, man. They botched this one, guys. I was so excited for this. I'd been kicking around a Secret of Mana remake in my brain since, I don't know, 1997 or so. It's like, you could make that for Nintendo 64 with some new little polygon characters and, running around 3D worlds and stuff. Maybe change the perspective. Okay, well, that didn't happen. And then for years and years, it didn't happen. And then they finally announced they were going to have a 25th anniversary edition of Secret of Mana. And I was like, okay, yeah, now we're talking. It's a straight remake of the original, but with polygonal graphics. Okay, cool, tight. Well, we did some things. Not many things, but we did some things that fucked this up. Oh boy. It doesn't straight up suck. It's fun.
Back of the box quote.
Yeah. Dude, that's the most praise I can give it. It is not outright terrible. It's got some charm. If you never play, it could be much worse, but it's pretty fucking bad. If you never played the original, then it's an acceptable alternative. And even if you have played the original, it's a decent little tribute to it. But Secret of Mana, I love the game. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. For a long time, was my favorite game of all time. And, I said that always despite its flaws because it was just so much fun to play. I mean, it's, not a perfect game. It had a bunch of shit chopped out of it because Nintendo's partnership with Sony fell through, all that stuff. Poorly translated, weirdly paced, whatever. But it was a blast. And this one is like an exact remake of that, like problems and all. They don't add in like new content or anything like that might have been deleted from the original game. It's the same exact game, going the same places. The mini map, they've added a mini map so you can have an idea where you're going. It's literally it's the image of the Super Nintendo game transposed onto like the PlayStation 4 graphics. So like you're walking around the little polygonal world, and then there's a Super Nintendo game there to remind you how charming it used to be. And it's just like there's for everything they got, like they advanced properly, they just somehow took something away. Like it's got 3D models, and there's cutscenes with voice acting. Voice acting's a little bit annoying, and the 3D models, their mouths don't move during the cutscenes, so it's like playing with puppets.
I love that.
That's not weird. Excellent. All the enemies are rendered in 3D. Some of them are like bigger than they used to be, and they've got a lot of detail. But like, there's no like charm. Like the 16-bit sprites had so much charm and animation. Like, you knock certain things out, they fall a certain way. Or if you fucking kill like a certain enemy, like they'd either explode. Like if you're fighting the water thug, it explodes in like droplets of water. Or if you're fighting like guys in the haunted forest, they dissolve into skeletons. All of a sudden, everything just kind of flops over and just like dies. And it's like, you took away the charm. Like, where's the animation? Where's the fun dancing? Like, where's the weird shit? It's like somebody looked through a book of Secret of Mana and it's like, okay, yeah, I pretty much got this. I can kind of, I bet I know what that thing does. Sure. Like, it's just missing those little flourishes. And then
are some of the vendors, do they dance still?
They do dance, and they look weird now because they're in 3D. Like the movement's all wrong. Like, I don't know, man. They're doing that same thing, and somehow it just feels foreign. But the things that really kill this game for me, and I chose this tonight to stick with my theme of disappointment. This started my year in disappointing fashion, and I thought I was having a good year until August, and now I'm back to disappointment. The battle system, they fucked it up. Like the Secret of Mana original, you could move in 8 directions, but you essentially attacked in 4 directions. You could attack up, down, left, right, and there was like there's a combat flow to it. Like you're fighting something, it's only going to attack you one way unless it uses a magic spell. And, so you can like move around the board and charge your weapon back up and then like get in line with the enemy, hit it, and try and evade it. But now both the enemies and the characters attack in like 360, like they can attack any direction. And so that old strategy is out the window, and it makes the battles really goddamn hard. Like things can hit you anywhere. Like it's fucking tough. And like the original Secret of Mana, it kind of made sense if you like occasionally swung your sword and just like straight up missed. Because you're moving back left and right, up and down, whatever, you swing and a miss. That's part of the game. But like they didn't really like explain why that would happen in this game. So like you run up to something with a fully charged spear attack and you just fucking thrust at it and it doesn't hit. And then you're just getting like fucking bodied by a fucking, demon head or whatever. It's just like, oh shit. Like, why is this happening? Like the battle system got so frustrating. And then the final straw, we just listened to it, man. They fucked this soundtrack up. Like the original Secret of Mana has one of the best SNES soundtracks of all time. One of the best video game soundtracks of all time. It's fantastic. It's a masterpiece of 16-bit music. And I don't know, man, like this, they just got it all wrong. Like some of the tracks sound like nicely updated instrumental versions of the original soundtrack. Just like with some better guitars and better instruments. I don't know where they pulled the idea that like, well, what we really wanted to go for on the Super NES, was bagpipes and fucking like, whatever the instrument that a snake charmer plays. And like it chose some fucking and accordions. Like they chose some bizarre instrumentation on this new soundtrack. Like I played 2 of the more reasonable songs and then the absolute travesty of a final song. Like, some of them, that first song was the Mushroom Village Matango theme. It's a little industrial, a little fun. In the game, in the SNES game, it sounds kind of, I don't know, like steel and, drums and stuff like that. And this one, they just kind of upped that, but then they just started adding those noodly guitars over and over again. It's like, all right, we got a good theme here, but what if we just fucking got like Carlos Santana to come in here and just like fuck a guitar all over this fucking track? Like, yeah, do it. Fucking run that dick up and down those fucking strings, man, just over and over again.
What is it with Game That Tune and having older male celebrities use their penis on inanimate objects?
It's just how it goes, David.
Fucking a guitar, George Lucas slamming his dick in a microwave.
It's just how it goes. But they hired a bunch of different composers to come in and do this. Yuzo Koshiro does like 6 of the remade sounds, or songs in the game, and actually does some of the better ones. But like, that second one, that's the flying theme when the Mana Fortress is in the air, and it's just the original thing, but with new guitars going all over it, and it's like, now, come on, you could have done better than that. And then that final song, I mean, that's my favorite Secret of Mana song ever. The Thanatos battle theme. And the remake of that song is done by Hiroki Kakuta himself. And I don't know what the fuck is going on. He's got like chanting and scat and like it's like, what are you doing? Like you just, it's like Jurassic Park, man. He just knew he could, but he didn't stop to think if he should. Hey, I know, I'll take what was originally a fucking sick SNES song and that had a really distinct sound and really unique, and I'll replace the instruments with people going, and then I'll, instead of like a drum hit, I'll just pay this guy over here to go bop bop bop. It's fucking terrible, and it just grinds my gears so hard. Like I can't believe how bad they did it on this soundtrack. Like it's travesty. And again, there are some songs that are good. They're going to be in post on this episode. Like there's going to be like Yuzo Koshiro's version of the Pure Land song is fucking great. It's just like awesome violins and shit. Some of them are really good, but man, some of them are really bad. Like I'm trying to think of like some like just commonplace music in Secret of Mana. And just how it sounded nice, and like do any of you guys have impressions? Like, can you just give me a thought about the original Secret of Mana soundtrack, like the general sound of it? And I don't know. What do you think?
So that ba 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 do 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 do, tune.
Right.
I really love it because it sounds like Javanese music / Bali, music.
Gamelan, yes. Balinese gamelan.
Yeah. And when I took a world history class back in college, and that was like my favorite region of music. So it was so interesting and like different and weird, and I loved it.
And I don't know. Yeah, but what did they do now?
I don't know. I don't know what they did to it, man. But like they just it's like yeah.
But like in general, like the instrumentation of the original sounded more like flutes and strings and stuff like that, and then they just replace it with like fucking, like I said, like accordions and bagpipes and just like the worst sounding instrumentation you can possibly have.
I was gonna say, like, I when I think of the Super Nintendo Secret of Mana soundtrack, I think very like classic epic fantasy, like a lot of light instrumentation, strings, woodwinds, that kind of thing. And then listening to this, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, like I said, I took it easy on you guys. Like the original, like the first, like just like forest area theme or whatever. like I'm trying to think. It's like the dun 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 da 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 da, like just that normal walking around Secret of Mana music. Like part of it sounds like they did it on like I think a xylophone, which okay, that's close, but then like I can't remember. They just like fuck up the melody of it real bad, and then like the later music, like I said, it's like what sounded like a flute in the original game and like a really cool, like, maybe piccolo song is replaced with a fucking bagpipe or accordion. And it's just like, no, like that's I don't want a cover on a, from a fucking like street musician for this. I want the fucking song. Like, what is this?
Like, if I listen to the Super Nintendo soundtrack, even if I don't know like the names of the songs or remember like what areas, I have an idea of like what this is supposed to represent. Like, oh, this is like the happy starting area, the grass has everything. But listening to these songs, like, I have no idea what's going on.
No.
Like, where does this fit into a fantasy game? What?
Yeah, no, it's like they just took the previous soundtrack and in some cases destroyed the instrumentation, and in other cases took the original soundtrack and fuck guitars all over it. That's all they did. Like, there is, and then in Hiroki Kakuta's case, the songs that he actually like did himself, I don't know what the fuck he did, but he took all of them and fucking ruined them, with one exception. He did a really nice version of the final boss theme, Meridian Dance, and it's not fucked up at all. I'm like, okay, what? That's great. What the fuck?
You got one.
You got one. You got the big one. It's the final boss theme. It doesn't make me want to kill myself. But like, what happened to the rest of this game? It's crazy, man. And I stopped playing it a while ago because I got it when it first came out, and it had a crashing bug all the time. It would crash frequently. Fortunately, one also little creature comfort they added for the remake, autosave whenever you enter a new area. So all the crashing didn't really matter because I could get back to where I was pretty easily. Good. But now they've patched that out, and I'm thinking about picking it up and finishing it just to say that I did it. But man, I think I'm going to have to flip the switch and listen to the classic soundtrack when I play it, because that's an option. And it's fine that it's an option, but man, this remade soundtrack is fucking unforgivable. It's so bad. So, yeah, that's my disappointment story for the year.
Is there a way that you could like make it so certain songs will be like the classic good ones, and then some songs would be the actual
the ones that are good should stay updated? Yeah, I would love that, because there are several good songs on this soundtrack. I have the soundtrack downloaded.
And can you play it online too?
And no, that's the other big problem. And I don't tend to judge things on that because whatever, it's it happens. But no, it's couch only multiplayer. So no, you can't jump online with your friends, which is disappointing because I would love to be able to do that, and I would probably play it way more if you could. But yeah, like I said, there's several good songs on the soundtrack. It's got like over 50 songs, so that several is not enough. Like, there need to be way more good songs, and they really blew this fucking thing. So anyway, Secret of Mana remake, if it ever goes like discount, and maybe they've patched it to the point that it's more playable now, might be worth a pickup. But no, it's a pretty lousy effort on the part of everyone involved. So I don't know where the Mana series goes from here, but I know where we're going from here. We're going to Game 5. Johnny, get us out of this.
Game 5.
Alright, guys. This is one of the few games to use the Game Boy Color's infrared port.
What was the trivia again?
This is one of the few games that can take advantage of the Game Boy Color's infrared port.
I might actually have it just because that is a very small list.
It sure is.
Yeah, I believe the list is only like 5 or 6 games. Alright, guys. Let's see some answers. Ooh. Oh man, okay, so David says Donkey Kong Land, which is incorrect. Jesse says Pokemon Crystal, which is incorrect. John says Pokemon the trading card game, and that is correct. This is Pokemon the trading card game, the video game for the Game Boy Color.
The necessary thing.
No, we did Pokemon Pinball, not the trading.
Hell yeah, we did.
Okay.
We almost did Pokemon trading card game. This one was requested a couple of weeks ago. Possibly that's why it's on Johnny's radar. I don't know.
I might have run out of time and just picked a request.
I just saw Donkey Kong, thought John, and said, oh, obviously that's what he chose.
Bingo. We need an ook. Give me a banana sound drop. We'll work on that.
Ooh.
Man. So, nobody played this, right? Despite it being one of the 10 best-selling games in the history of the Game Boy, nobody actually played the Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy, right? They just played the Pokemon trading card game.
I believe
the Game Boy version.
I believe one of us had the Game Boy version. I believe David used to have it, if I recall correctly.
No, I had the trading card game.
Oh shit!
Not the trading card game for Game Boy.
Yep.
Oh man, this whole time I thought
do
you had it.
Some of the music is weird, and I'm not sure why. Unless it was like some of the songs are remixes from like obscure Pokemon songs.
Could be.
So yeah,
but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, what is the point? besides just capital, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Like,
although I've actually heard that.
Thank you.
Yeah, where the fuck were you when we were talking about space?
Yeah, Chase.
Space.
I've actually heard that this game is really good because they add a story element to it, if I recall.
Is it?
So it's
Pokemon?
kind of like Pokemon going around trying to be the best, beating the Mafia, but it's in a trading card game format.
Yeah, and I believe this game's use of the infrared port was interesting. It was called like Card Pop or something like that. And the idea was you would point the two Game Boys at each other via infrared port, and you would each get like a card out of it. And you couldn't do that again with that same player until you'd gone. There's some number of times that if you did, once you did it with so many other players, then you could like start repeating people. But I think it was some like pretty high number. Like it would take you like 100 people to do it or something like that.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But the card pop was the only way I think you could get the Mew card and the Venusaur card. And then, interesting thing is they made a sequel to this, Pokemon the Trading Card Game 2. And if you try to do the card pop with that and Pokemon Trading Card Game 1, it would, I think, erase the save file of Pokemon the Trading Card Game 1.
That's fine.
Because fuck you.
Yeah.
Which is like, you think they'd have a little check like, oh, is this the right game? No, maybe I shouldn't do anything. Like,
No.
What an issue. Yeah. So wait, I mean, was it just for this card pop thing, or now hold on, this is the Pokemon trading card game. Pokemon, big mechanic in the original game, trading. Could you trade cards via IR or just do this card pop thing?
That's a good question. I know that because here's something that's weird is some of these Game Boy games that did use the infrared port, like I think Pokemon Crystal used the infrared port, you still battled with the link cable, and the infrared port was for something totally, like a different feature. You wouldn't use the infrared port in place of the link cable, or vice versa.
Okay, yeah, that shows what I know. I'm just making a joke. It's like, oh wow, you can do this card pop thing. It's like, can you trade? I don't know. That would have been a good idea.
So you are able to send and receive cards over the infrared port, so you can trade cards, and then you can use the link cable to duel.
Gotcha. Nice. Because one of the big things in the real life Pokemon trading card game was I never fucking traded cards with anybody. I strictly just bought blind packs and opened them and hoped that I got better things. Like do people actually trade trading cards? I don't think they do. Like, you buy cards, you keep them, you play them, or in the case of like I don't know, X-Men or like sports cards, you just kind of keep them and you don't do anything with them, and they depreciate in value. But like, Jesse, you're a card game player. Back in the day, did you actually trade cards with people?
Yeah, I would trade.
Okay, just checking. I feel like me and my friends were always too
like
competitive, too selfish.
Were playing, and so we would trade back and forth and stuff.
Okay. Word. Yeah, I think me and my friends were like too competitive and shitty against each other to actually like, hey man, you want to give me that Meowth? No, I know you want it. You can't have it. Like,
rips it in half in front of you.
Yeah.
I seem to remember there was a rule in the actual card game where, like, if you played somebody and you won, you got to take one of their cards. Like, allegedly, that's how the game is supposed to play. But, of course, nobody did that because, fuck you, I'm not going to give you,
Say, David, I made that
foil Charizard card that I had.
Just to steal all your foil cards. The real rule was I'm bigger than you and give me all your foil cards. There was nothing written into it where you had to, but I didn't want to strong arm them out of you. I had to convince you that it was legit. So, these things happen.
I didn't want to strong arm them out of you, so I just lied to you to get my way.
Yes, exactly. Come on.
So
man.
I just printed a fake rule book and distributed copies all over town.
Mm-hmm. It's just how it goes, man. It was 2000. It was a different time. You couldn't just search for these things. You had to present the rule book, and that's how it went. But yeah, I love the Pokemon trading card game.
The trading card game that's available now on the computer and mobile devices is way cooler. Because like you can buy physical packs of cards and then get codes for digital packs of cards too.
Dope.
So it's like you get cards to play with your real life friends, and then you get cards to play with strangers. It's pretty cool.
I like it. Yeah, I like the actual Pokemon trading card game. Briefly, sadly, there was like a lull in my enthusiasm for it, and I like lost track of where all my cards were, and then my brother burned them all back in the day. So kind of got out of it for a while.
I remember playing. I remember having Pokemon Red and going up to the Avenues Mall to go to a Pokemon tournament. And I remember they had these side tables set up of all these people doing the trading card game. And at this point, I don't think I had gotten into the trading card game yet. Because I will admit, at some point I was. I remember having cards. But I definitely remember having my Game Boy with me on the way to the Pokemon tournament and looking at the trading card table. People would be like, fucking scrubs. Like, I'm playing the actual Pokemon. What is this bullshit?
Nerds.
And then I won my first round and lost the second.
Word. Did we all go to that tournament together? Because, yeah.
We did. You released my Mewtwo right before we went.
Yeah, I did that. I remember now. And then, hey, karma got me because I didn't win a single fucking match. So, man, the fucking, that tournament at the Avenues Mall back in the day. What a weekend.
That's one of those things where at the time I cannot stress how fucking pissed I was. But now I look back on it, I'm like, that's hilarious.
Dude, you ready for the best story time? We all went and had a pretty good time at that, despite me being kind of a jerk and releasing your Mewtwo. Karma got me back in a big way because not only did I not win any games at that tournament, I spent the weekend at David's house because my parents were going with the family up to like a family reunion type thing in Georgia, and somehow I was able to convince them that I wanted to go to this Pokemon tournament because it was very important rather than go to a family reunion thing. And in the midst of that family reunion, my parents had the fight that broke their marriage, and they came back and told us they were getting divorced. And I missed it for a Pokemon tournament.
Gotta catch them all.
I'm just imagining like young John's like, there's something we need to tell you. We love you very much, but we're getting a divorce, and the only thought in your head is, oh God, I shouldn't have released that Mewtwo.
I didn't win a single goddamn match. What's that, son? Oh yeah, your thing, right?
Oh yeah, your marriage is falling apart. Oh yeah.
First match. And then going into the second match, and or no, it was the first match because they had to set up for the other people. So I was in the first match and I was locked in with this kid, and we were both like on our final Pokemon, and we were both using Mewtwo, and I would attack him. Next turn, he recovered. He would attack me. Yep. Next turn, I recovered. So that's all we were doing the whole time. And then finally, like the woman who was like attending everything was like, okay, we need to go. It's like, no, we're in the middle of this. We're fighting. We have to see who wins everything. Well, other people are coming. It's like, no, we're in the middle of this. If I was like, you know what? You both get badges. Just turn your games off.
Get out of here.
Okay, cool.
I made these. I was a total Pokemon scrub, and in my zeal to win, I was like, all right, let me make like a last second like awesome move to make my characters better. I'll make my Mewtwo, my level 100 Mewtwo, learn one more like offensive TM, and he'll just be a powerhouse. And I made it forget recover. So, I just got fucking worked. I was pretty bad at that. So lesson learned: if your Pokemon has the ability to recover, keep it. It's useful, especially in tournament settings. I think I was more used to like playing the Elite Four in the computer. It's like I never need to recover. I'm just like, handling all these motherfuckers. It's like, oh right, if you go up against other people that also have 6 level 100 Pokemon, you can't just handle them without recovering. Oh crap! and my parents are getting divorced. This is the worst weekend ever.
Jesus Christ, John.
Okay.
Again, keeping with that backdoor theme of disappointment.
I don't want to rub salt in. I don't want to bring up old wounds, but I would like to officially motion to name the episode ... and my parents are getting a divorce.
Oh God.
It's the end of August Absurdity, and my parents have been divorced for 20 years. Oh, God damn it.
Oh, too dark. Too dark.
I'm
Indeed.
sure it hasn't affected me in any way.
Yep, I'm a perfectly normal adult now, he said on his video game music podcast. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, no, under Johnny's
going
rule.
in the new Freeplay jingle.
Under Johnny's rule, I believe we have to keep it much more light. So we will no longer be bringing up my parents' divorce, which is cool. I didn't really want to bring it up. It's the ultimate story connected to Pokemon for me.
I mean, in terms of Pokemon stories, it's pretty up there.
Yeah, I played Pokemon instead of witness my parents' marriage completely fall apart. Pokemon's been a big part of my life. So the Pokemon trading card game, though, it didn't play that. Maybe I had a weird association afterward. Anything else, John, on the Pokemon trading card game?
No, I believe it's time to fire up the calculating computer.
I have thoroughly covered this one.
Calculating computer activated. Computers, beeps,
Oh, sorry, I was checking up on the chat. What was that?
beeps. Scoring complete. This game's winner is John Harrington.
Bling! Fantastic. What an episode. And no, this is in no way redeeming for me losing August Absurdity. It's a nice win. It's not the nice win, but it still feels pretty good, man. Great show tonight, guys. I love it when we get a good free play going.
I love that you played the Secret of Mana remake, and we used the new free play jingle, which is the Secret of Mana Victory.
It's almost like we coordinated that. And I'm going to say, yes, we did. Johnny knew exactly what he was pressing when he pressed that button. Yeah, definitely knew.
That was not my first time hearing that win jingle.
Good. But yeah, man, what a game, man. So I guess we're back to normal. It's not head to head anymore. And now that I've won, I've just got to pick a theme, huh? I feel like it's been so long since we've done this. So I was thinking we've got Labor Day coming up, holiday for workers. And it's a little bit of a stretch of a theme, but I think I'm going to go with it. I want games in which you have a job. And, I know you could argue in a lot of cases like, oh, yeah, like Ryu from Ninja Gaiden. He's a fucking ninja. That's his job. I don't know. I don't know if you get paid for that. I want games in which you have a job in the traditional sense.
In Final Fantasy games, classes are called jobs.
Ooh, well, I said it, so the die is cast. So, games in which you get a job, games with a job system. We're jobbing it out on our next labor-themed episode of Game That Tune. Oh, God, I could have gone with pregnancy games. That's too late. We're going with job games. Labor Day, pregnancy games.
Have you been on the internet? It's probably best we don't do pregnancy games.
Yeah, no, I think it's Dragon Quest V, and then fucking you don't want to go there. So,
Hand jobs.
It's games in which you, no.
Games in which you have a job, not games in which you have a job done to you.
Games in which you work at a job.
Well, what if it's a pretty
What
woman
about
type
wrestling
situation?
games that have jobbers.
No, you already got Final Fantasy games. I'm not making a concession for wrestling games as well. It's not just going to be Jesse Fiasco, next week with nothing but Final Fantasy and wrestling. Fiasco. We're not having it.
Although, side note, someone should make a Final Fantasy wrestling game.
Yes.
Yes.
Or recognize that some wrestlers' characters are jobs. Like, wasn't there a guy that was an accountant or a tax man or something?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of
job-themed wrestlers. So yeah, my job. I'm one of the Bludgeon Brothers, so we're using the wrestling games. It's all good. No, You know what I mean. You know in your heart what it means. It's a little stupid, but that's Game That Tune, baby. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. Again, all August long. It's been a fantastic August Absurdity. We've had a blast. And thanks for tuning in tonight. A lot of great chat in the chat room, chat box, whatever you want to call it. We're live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m., twitch.tv/GameThatTune, youtube.com/GameThatTune, facebook.com/GameThatTune. Catch us live. Or you can catch us in podcast form. It comes out Wednesday mornings. It sounds a little better than the live show. We touch it up. We make it sound good. And you should check it out. It's in iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks again to our requester tonight. That was Andrew Oliver. Johnny, did you ever give credit for your request, or are you just claiming it as your own?
Oh, you mean the Pokemon trading card game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I should probably give credit to whoever requested that. And
no, it's all good. It was your game, man.
Okay.
You know, we already had a request tonight. So thanks, Andrew Oliver, for your request. He made his request via Twitter, where you can find us at Game That Tune. But you can also hit us up, gamethattune@gmail.com. You can find us in our Game That Tune Discord channel. Check out one of our websites for more information on that. Join us there. We're always chatting. And thank you to Andrew also for being a patron over at patreon.com/GameThatTune. We've got fun exclusives. We got mixtapes. We got other wacky shows in the works. Johnny's using it to develop new software to enable us to play better like Jackbox games together. We're going to start doing like video game movie watch parties. We got all kinds of crazy shit in the works over at patreon.com/GameThatTune, and you should check us out there. Thank you to our super fan tier producers, Alex Messenger, Lance Revere, and Andrew Oliver. You guys are fantastic. And I think if there's nothing else, you can follow me on Twitter at JGangsta187. You can follow John Regan on Twitter at
JPReganJR.
You can follow David Fleming on Twitter at
DFD Fleming.
And you can follow Jesse Moore on Twitter at
Well, technically, Johnny owns that Twitter right now.
Oh, well, no. See, that's the thing. August is over. So, I think you get your Twitter back now.
Yeah, you get it back now.
Oh, Christ. Okay.
So
At Sega_legend.
Awesome, man. So yeah, that's the show. Thanks for listening, and we're going out with my really unfortunate bonus tunes. It's from the Secret of Mana 2018 soundtrack. I dread to even play it for you.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna let that happen, John. I'm just gonna play my bonus tunes as the incompetent king.
You know, you might actually be doing everybody a favor there. So, what do you got there, King?
I have the first. I think this is the first song I ever downloaded of like a remix of a video game song that got me into the idea of like, hey, this can be cool stuff. This video game music. This is from 2002, a remix of the Super Mario Brothers Overworld theme by a scholar and a physician, titled "Super Mario Brothers Dirty Mix."
Peace out, everybody.
What about our sheep? Selector. Wow! Dreaming. The angels know
Back to me, Mario.
I think it should be a wing. See, when she wasn't looking at the game, she picked up by the neck. Like that, you know. And we had to do it all over again.
How absurd! Grim Fandango is copyright 1998 LucasArts Entertainment Company, LLC. Space Invaders Extreme is copyright 2008 Taito Corporation. Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee is copyright 2003 Atari Incorporated. Secret of Mana is copyright 1993 2018 Square Enix Company Limited. Pokemon Trading Card Game is copyright 2000 Nintendo of America Incorporated, Game Freak Incorporated, and Creatures Incorporated.